All right, today we're diving into something pretty wild. It's a prophecy from the ancient world that was so specific, it's said to have predicted a huge crisis right down to the exact day it would all be over. So the big question is, how on earth is that even possible?
I mean, really think about that for a second. Can a vision, something written down thousands of years ago, actually map out historical events with that kind of crazy precision? That's the mystery we're going to try to unravel here.
And here it is. This is the prophecy, straight from the book of Daniel. The wording itself is kind of strange, right? 2,300 evenings and mornings. And then this promise, the sanctuary will be reconsecrated. So what in the world was this talking about?
Well, this wasn't just some number pulled out of thin air. This vision was actually foretelling a period of intense crisis, a really dark time when a sacred place would be completely defiled, and a whole group of people would be brutally oppressed.
You know, the thing that's so stunning here is just how specific it is. We're not talking about some vague, sometime in the future kind of prediction. Nope, we're talking about exactly 2,300 days. If you do the math, that comes out to about 6 1/3 years. That's an incredibly precise window of time.
Now, to be clear, this isn't the only time-based prophecy you'll find in the Bible. But what makes this one different from, say, the 1,260 days in Revelation is that this one is traditionally seen as having already happened. It's a done deal. While scholars might debate exactly when the book was written, the story of how it was fulfilled is a seriously powerful chapter in ancient history.
Of course, every good prophecy needs a villain. And boy, did history provide one. A king who would, completely unknowingly, step right into the very role that was described.
Meet Antiochus IV. He actually called himself Epiphanes, which means God manifest. Yeah, that tells you a little something about his ego, right? As a Seleucid king, he was known for being absolutely brutal to anyone who stood up to him. And his persecution of the Jewish people, well, it would end up aligning perfectly with Daniel's ancient vision.
So let's look at how the history actually lines up with the prophecy. The persecution kicks off around 171 BC. By 167 BC, it hits its absolute worst point, when Antiochus storms the Holy Temple in Jerusalem and desecrates it. He even sacrifices a pig on the altar, which was a massive offense. And then around 164 BC, the temple is finally reconsecrated. The whole thing fits neatly inside that 2,300-day window.
But it gets even crazier. His actions didn't just fit the timeline, they mirrored the very words of the prophecy itself. It's almost like he was following a script.
I mean, the connection here is just uncanny. The prophecy said the daily sacrifice would be taken away. Check. Antiochus did that. It mentioned the sanctuary being surrendered. Well, he desecrated the temple and rededicated it to the Greek god Zeus. It talked about the people being trampled, and his persecution was just horrifically cruel. It all lines up.
So for 6 1/3 years, the Jewish people were forced to live through this absolute nightmare that Daniel had apparently seen centuries earlier. It was a period of true darkness, just like the vision had described.
But here's the thing. The prophecy didn't end with all that darkness. It had one last crucial prediction, that the sanctuary would be reconsecrated or, made holy again. And the turning point? It came with the death of the tyrant himself. In 1640 BC, Antiochus Epiphanes died, and his reign of terror came to an end. This opened the door for the prophecy's final act.
And just like the prophecy said would happen, the light came back. After Antiochus died, the Jewish people took back their sacred space. They purified the temple, they rededicated it, and they restored the daily sacrifices. The 2,300 days of darkness were officially over, and it seems right on schedule.
Now, this incredible story of persecution and restoration didn't just get written down in a history book and forgotten. Not at all. It actually became the foundation for a celebration of freedom and faith that is still happening to this day.
You see, these exact historical events, the cleansing of the temple, the victory over this oppressive king, this is the origin story of the Jewish festival of Hanukkah. So the fulfillment of this ancient prophecy is something that gets commemorated every single year. It's woven right into a modern tradition.
And according to the source material, this is part of what makes the Bible so unique. It's this idea of a God who can declare the end right from the beginning, someone who can essentially map out history long before it actually happens.
And that really just leaves us with one final question to think about. Whether you see all this as divine intervention, or maybe a really remarkable coincidence, or perhaps history that was just artfully retold, the story of the 2,300 days makes us ask, What does it mean when the pages of an ancient book seem to perfectly describe our own recorded history?